It's The Local Show on News Radio 570 WSYR, a service of Geddes Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to The Local Show, the 2023. Well, it's still midwinter, but we've had a mild winter, thank goodness. I'm your host, Tom Soccocio Jr., along with my friend and co-host, usually, Steve Roberts, but he's out again, and I have Greg Angwin with me, and we'll introduce him in just a few minutes. The Local Show features conversations about local business. We talk to the business owners, CEOs, CFOs, entrepreneurs, nonprofits, business advocates, and other business-friendly organizations. We talk about how they got into business, why they do business right here in Syracuse, New York, and where their businesses might be going in the future. You'll hear all about their successes, challenges, opportunities, marketing, and advertising. We are broadcasting from the Zoey Advertising Studios, sponsored by Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. And I say a hearty, healthy good morning to my old friend, Greg Angwin.
Good morning. Good. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing all right.
All right.
Here we are back together again. I guess we should probably prep people as to, if they want to turn the channel now, and let them know how we know each other. Greg and I are old friends. We met, it's got to be, was it 30 years ago we were at Prudential?
That's quite possible, yeah. That's right, Prudential, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So I've been married for 30, so it's got to be, it's before that.
Right, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it could be almost like 38 years ago we met and we were at Prudential, and Greg was doing well. They wanted to kick me out, and they did. And I said, geez, I got this DJ company. Would you like to get involved? And Greg, you were a musician, right?
I was all in, yeah. Just hadn't performed in a long time, and just opportunity was good, yeah. So
it seemed like fun, and I brought you out on a couple of gigs, and you were like, hey, there's beer and food, and we could actually have fun.
We don't have to pay for it all. Yeah,
right.
So good.
So we had the DJ company together for quite a while, and we did well. We were doing close to 400 events a year with our staff.
Yep.
And our
second best decade of my life.
Yeah. And that's where Greg taught me how to eat clams, ladies and gentlemen, because we used to do a lot of corporate stuff back then. And I remember us doing a lot of clam bakes. That was wonderful.
Yes. Yeah.
And you were like, hey, I remember what you told me. You said you got to take the clams, you put them in the butter cup.
Yes. Extract them and just dunk them right in. Yeah. Leave them there for a little bit.
Yeah. Rather than, try to do them individually.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, it's good to have you along. And you are, we should give people your title. What do you do? I forgot.
I sell big trucks to mostly municipalities. So my job at Conway Beam Truck Group is specializing in municipal business. So gotcha. I acquire statewide contracts and for the benefit of the sales force, so we can easier sell the trucks to our customers.
Nice. Okay. So we'll talk about that too, because you have a lot of insight into that world of transportation.
Tons.
Yeah, that's great. All right. So right now, coming up, we have Megan Query. She's a nurse recruiter at the VA Medical Center. And then we're going to talk with Kevin Walma. He's the owner of 43 North Marina. And I think he's bringing his sales manager, Dave Falgi. Mike Intaglietta is the executive director of the Landmark Theater. John Tomino is the co-founder of In My Father's Kitchen. He'll stop by. Stan Shane, Syracuse dog fence owner. We'll talk about their product. Attorney John Murphy graces us with his presence. He's the owner of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. We'll talk with Ed Ware, is the owner of Ware Brothers Carpet and Duct Cleaning. And then we'll round out the show with John Kupperman, the owner of Smith's Restaurant Supply, all on The Local Show. Megan Query, we've had had you on a couple times. You're a new nurse recruiter, not a noose recruiter by any means. Nurse recruiter at the Syracuse VA Medical Center. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Very good, thanks. So the VA. First, tell us a little bit about your background and where you came from before you got into the VA.
Sure. So I am a registered nurse. Prior to that, I was a nursing assistant, and now I have my bachelor's degree or my master's degree, and I'm working on my doctorate. So.
Oh, you're working on a doctorate.
Very nice.
Yep.
And get this, Greg. She's got 8 kids. That's incredible.
That's a lot of work and a lot of home. I don't know how you find the time. That's incredible.
How do you find it? Where do you go? Like
You just find it.
how big is your house? Like where can you go to study?
I wait till they're all asleep.
Yeah, that's something. What are the? How old is your oldest?
She just turned 20.
Golly.
Yeah.
And does she help out?
She's in nursing school too.
Oh my goodness! Yeah.
So she's dedicated to her studies right now. So
Possible recruit for.
she is. She's coming to the VA.
Yeah. All right.
She
Good.
graduates in May.
Very nice. And what's your husband do?
My husband is a federal police officer who also works at the VA.
Oh gosh.
Yep.
So you guys are all in governmental and all that.
We
so
are.
What's the difference between the VA and a standard for-profit type? Well, you guys are for profit, but am I saying that right? Or are you a nonprofit?
So we serve one population.
Okay.
So we only serve the veteran population.
I see.
So where you have private and non-private hospitals, the VA serves only the veteran population. So you have to be a veteran to get services with us.
What if you're the wife or husband of a veteran?
So unfortunately, no. The VA only serves the veteran population. So for
Gotcha.
all services of care, so from primary care to emergency care to critical care to long-term care, we have all of it right on site at the VA.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So as far as your role, what is it?
So my job is to find the best, most talented nurses that I can to serve our veterans.
Okay. And I would imagine that you guys do everything, all kinds of surgery.
We do. We have a full surgery. We have, like I said, long-term care, short-term care, surgery. We have a spinal cord injury unit. So every aspect of your care, if you're a veteran, can be served at the VA.
That's got to be difficult to have long-term care as well, because usually those are in 2 different camps. So you have, the acute care and people who might need, medical attention right away. But then the long-term care, that's hard to keep that staffed, isn't it?
So actually our long-term care is pretty well staffed. It's our acute care, med-surg areas that we really need some
more help.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So why would somebody want to work there?
So we actually just instituted a new pay schedule for all of our inpatient nurses. So there's a little bit of a nice pay incentive right now that inpatient nurses would get, and federal benefits across the board for any area of the hospital. So definitely competitive, lots of opportunities and benefits.
That's very interesting. So to become a doctor there, do you get a lot of people who are in the military who end up being doctors?
So we do. So it's kind of widespread, though. I say we see more nurses that are veterans than doctors. So
a lot of male nurses?
Yeah, it's a pretty good mix. I would say probably 25 to 30% of our nursing population is males.
Is it fun? Is it like a big MASH unit, like the old show?
So it's great. The culture at the VA is something you won't find anywhere. It's just a very unique and dynamic population that we serve. And then the culture of the nursing staff and really the whole medical center really reflects that.
Do you have any specialist type of equipment? Because I know that, somebody who gets hurt in war or, they come back and you might need special type equipment. Is there stuff you can't get at other hospitals?
So we do. So our spinal cord injury is state of the art, and it is really designed for veterans that have spinal cord injuries and stuff. And they're making some amazing advancements, and the VA really is at the forefront of that and, really supporting those veterans. So.
How can nurses get a hold of you?
So they can reach out to the VA directly. The number is 315-425-4400, and they can just ask for me. I'm the only nurse recruiter, so.
Excellent.
Yep.
And if you're not studying or, wiping a nose of a kid, you'll be right there.
I'm there.
You are one heck of an inspiration to all of us. Thank you so much. Megan Query right there, nurse recruiter for the Syracuse VA Medical Center. You have a great rest of the day, okay?
Thanks. All
right. Coming up next, we're going to talk with Kevin Walma. He's the owner of 43 North Marina and his sales manager, Dave Fulgi. And they're in the boat show coming up. So we'll talk boating on the local show on 570 WSYR. Stick around.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Gettys Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome back and welcome into this weekend. You've got the weekend of pure talk about local business, stuff that's going on around town. We've got Micron coming in, and we've got all sorts of businesses that have already been here. And we like to talk about how they got into business and where they might be going in the future. If they're a family-owned business, maybe you don't know who the family is, and you thought, geez, that's an interesting business. How long have they been around and all that? I am with Greg Angwin today because Steve Roberts found out that he's tall and gangly, and they said, you better stay home. So
just found that out.
Yeah, he's under the weather and under the radar. So that's fine. But Greg and I are old friends. We've known each other for well over 30 years, had a business together with a DJ company, and you work currently at Beam Mac Conway?
Conway Beam Truck Group, yes.
Okay, that's a truck group. And you sell the big rigs.
Yep. Mostly municipal trucks.
Okay.
So that's my specification, my
specialty.
Yes, thank you. Searching, for words.
So you go down to Long Island a lot, right?
I do. I cover all the way from Riverhead all the way to Buffalo.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what kind of trucks are they buying? Like, give me an example of a truck.
Municipal plow trucks.
Okay.
Everything
those.
from counties to towns, villages, all that. Yeah. And my job for the company is to acquire contracts for my company so that our sales staff can sell to the customers.
Okay, I gotcha. Now, does Hochul give money to these municipalities in New York State?
Certain ones, certain locations, she does. Mainly downstate. That's how that works.
I gotcha. Yeah. All right. Do they? So you don't sell but you sell over the sleepers and everything too.
I
right?
don't specifically, but Mac and Volvo do sell those. A lot of them, but that's not my specialty.
I gotcha. But you used to do more of those.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Hey. Gettys Federal Savings and Loan has been around for quite a while. They are a local business right here, and they are a sponsor of this show. So we want you to get it at Gettys. Get it at Gettys.com. That's an easy website to remember. But more importantly than their website is the fact that you can walk into their branch. So they are a local company where they hire local people. So you can ask questions. You don't have to dial a 1-800 number and hope you get somebody or be put on perpetual hold. So get it at Gettys.com. Please go visit them and tell them that the local show sent you. Right now, it's our pleasure to talk to a couple of guys that are going to, dig up memories of spring and summer and all that. It's Kevin Walma. He's the owner of 43 North Marina, and he's brought his sales manager, Dave Fulgi. And 43 North Marina is the old trader yacht, which is up in Brewerton, right?
It sure is. Yep.
Great. How long have you been in the business there, Kevin?
4 seasons now. We've been enjoying out on Oneida Lake.
Yeah.
And we've got good response so far and made it through the pandemic.
Yeah, that's something.
Well done.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well done. Prior to the pandemic, you were probably picking up steam, right? How long had you owned it before the pandemic?
It had been just a year.
Just a year.
Just a year before it hit. But
good golly. It's probably the biggest marina on Oneida Lake, wouldn't you say? Or?
I think so. In terms of total slips or acreage, we're one of them for sure.
Yeah, and it's real easy to get to. You go over the little bridge in Brewerton, and you're there.
We're very visible from the highway. As you're going north on 81, you look off to the right. We're that marina off to the right.
Yeah. What's the restaurant over there?
Well, there's a couple in the area.
Okay.
Just off to the left of the bridge is 916, which is a great spot. And then behind us at Bradbury's is Baratos, which is another favorite
Oh, okay. Yeah,
for the
yeah,
locals.
Yep, very nice. Baratos, been there.
You been there? Yeah, I haven't been there.
So when you're driving over the bridge, it's the, I always notice that silo-looking thing. Is that on your property? That's you guys?
It is.
Yes.
It's a lighthouse wannabe.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
For family purposes, yes, that's the way. Yeah.
Yes, it does look rather phallic if you look at it. What exactly was it ever active as a lighthouse? Or?
I believe the prior owner had attempted to get it onto the historic registry.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But it did not make it. So at this point, it's just a landmark.
Would you do anything with it? Did you ever think to use it as a marketing tool?
We've got some really creative suggestions from some of our customers that I don't think would be politically correct.
I had a couple myself, actually. Yeah,
That's cool. Hey, you got to make some noise. Got to break a couple of eggs to make that omelet. So, Dave Falgi, how long you been in this business?
So about a year. Started 1st of April of this past year, and just coordinate most of the sales and marketing.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, you're not doing the fixing of the boats, you're selling. What did you sell before boats?
I've been in sales my whole life. I was in the lacrosse industry for over 25 years, working for a few major manufacturers and designing and selling and running sales staffs.
Kevin, how'd you find him?
So, easy transition.
The stars
from that,
aligned.
yeah.
What's that?
The stars aligned.
Yeah. That's because that's not like a normal transition into boats because there's a lot to know about boats.
Yeah, I've been a boater my whole life.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Really, always been involved in. An opportunity came up. We talked about the pandemic and things were kind of drying up a little bit in the sporting goods world, and so Kevin and I connected, and it's worked. Yeah.
Excellent. So we got the big boat show in progress, and I've gone to that probably, I don't know how many years it's been, but I was a big boater back in the 90s, and then I had kids. Isn't that the way it goes? Right? How many times have you heard that story? Then you end up selling. But my wife and I actually want to get back in, and we'll probably attend when I get out of this place. So tell me a little bit about the show. What will you be showing off at the boat show?
Yeah, so we carry 5 new brands. We carry a relatively new pontoon brand called Viaggio, made in Indiana.
Interesting.
We also sell C-Pro, which is a center console fishing type boat. Mm-hmm. We also have Scarab performance jet boats. And we also have low fishing boats and Stingray, which is a kind of a runabout, open bow type brand.
Right. Boy, I think, and I don't want to sound like an old man, because I don't want to paint pontoon boats as an old man boat. But it has gotten a lot more fancy, right? I mean, it's like the Cadillac of boats. I had a Chaparral, a 25-footer Chaparral with a cuddy and everything. And the cuddy was kind of useless. But, the thing would scoop pretty good. 47, 48 miles an hour, all flat out, planed out. But you can get those pontoons are just so well appointed. Tell me about your pontoon.
Yeah, they are. They're very luxurious, and even performance has kind of entered into the mix now.
Gotcha.
It's not unusual to see a pontoon with a 250 horsepower outboard on it. Tri-tunes, which make them a little bit more, maneuverable, stable.
Yeah.
Yep, they'll plane faster. So the pontoons are extremely popular. The other category that we've seen just skyrocket is the center consoles. And again, they've turned those from pure fishing vessels into more family-oriented, kind of creature, nice creature luxuries within them. And the center consoles are red hot.
That's awesome. Do you offer financing?
We do. Yep. We have some financing options right in-house. And naturally we have a lot of local customers, but you'd be surprised, via the internet now, we have a lot of out-of-state customers as well.
Can I test drive if I come to your place?
We've got a lot of boats you can take a ride on for sure.
Okay. Yeah.
I
didn't know that was a thing.
8 months to test drive it?
Well, beyond my own boat, which I'd be happy to take you for a ride on, I think one of the things that we're looking forward to sharing with the community is that we are going to be launching a boat club and rental operation on site of the property. So for folks that love the idea of boating but don't like the idea of the maintenance and having to take care of the boat, we're gonna offer that for you. So you can actually just show up, jump in.
That's a great niche. I don't know if anyone else is doing that.
Yeah. That means that Greg, you and me and Ann and Kelly, we can all just go out for the weekend and not have ownership.
Right.
All the fun and no responsibility. I like that.
Leave it to us. We'll maintain it. We'll store it. We'll fuel it up. Keep it clean and ready to go.
That's awesome. Anything else you want to tell people about your place in the next 25 seconds or so?
We're a full-service marina. We have upwards of 5 full-time techs on staff, Mercury certified, and also open with Suzuki, a relatively new motor brand for us. Mm-hmm. And we also have, in water and dry dock rack storage available. We're a full-service marina.
Excellent. So get up and see you guys, right? Do you have a website? Yeah, 43northmarina.com.
You got it.
Okay, that's well appointed. You can see that as well. Or you can give them a call at 676-3531. 676-3531. Kevin Walma, owner of 43 North Marina, his sales manager, Dave Falgi. And go visit them and get in the mood for boating right now, okay? Thank you, guys.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Look forward to seeing you.
Excellent. We'll be talking with Mike Intaglietta. He is the executive director of the Landmark Theater next on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Gettys Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for carving out a little time on your weekend for Tom and Steve. Unfortunately, Steve's not here. Or fortunately, whichever you think, right? I am with Greg Angwin today. Greg is an old friend of mine, and he works at Conway Beam Mac Trucking, right? Or is it
close? The third,
Conway
you're
Beam?
getting closer, yes. Conway Beam Truck Group, yes.
Okay,
yeah,
it's a whole group of truckers.
All good. It's all good, yeah.
So how long before the trucks go electric? What do you think?
They're starting to now, yeah. A lot of refuse trucks, low miles, kind of short route type of stuff. They're really pushing it. The governor's pushing it really hard, and so it'll be a lot of nickel mining across the world to make that happen, I'm sure.
Right, and probably the expense has got to be even more. What's a standard truck go for these days? Over the road truck.
Over the road is about $175,000.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
Yeah,
I got that under my mattress, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
So the electrics will probably be double that, right?
Yes, that's no exaggeration. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it's just not quite there yet, but they're trying. All right. Hey, it's our pleasure right now to bring on a new guest to the show. His name is Mike Intaglietta. He is the executive director of the Landmark Theater. Landmark Theater, but spelled differently, right?
Yeah, spelled the old-fashioned way.
Right. And I was going to say, is there is it a particular language or is it the old Victorian English? But it's just the old-fashioned way.
It's kind of a Northeast American affectation, but
I gotcha.
But a lot of theater people kind of stick to it.
Yeah, the theater. Anyway, so Mike, where'd you come from? Are you a Syracuse native?
I am. Yeah, I grew up in Liverpool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Went to Liverpool High School?
I did, 93.
Oh, yeah. And did you participate in shows and plays back then? Or?
I did 2 shows. Mm-hmm. We did musicals in Spanish. Our Spanish class put on shows.
That's difficult.
It was like a one-woman effort. Our Spanish teacher did it for, I think, 18 years.
Golly.
It was, and ours were the last 2.
I gotcha.
She retired shortly thereafter.
Did you go to college after that? Or?
Yeah, I went to Binghamton.
Oh, wow.
So stayed in the area.
Tough school to get into.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did some acting there too. Did some improv comedy, which is really where I developed my passion for the arts.
Right. And what's your degree in?
I studied psychology.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's all part of the acting thing and all that. So now, how long have you been at the theater?
Let's see. I started in October of 2015, so we're over 7 years now.
That's pretty good. And what did you do before that?
I worked for CNY Arts, which is the Regional Arts Council, and before that I was at the Red House Art Center.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, one of my good friends is Ron Keck, who owns the Subcat Studios.
Yeah, Ron's a good guy.
Yeah. That was a wonderful endeavor that he had. We had him on the show a couple of times. And the Red House is still a beautiful place, right?
Yeah.
Is it still there connected?
No, they moved over to be across the street from us.
Oh,
so
okay, gotcha.
They're over on the other corner of Jefferson and Salina.
Well, it's like a whole arts corner now.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Well, just a little background about me. My father was a musical director. Actually, he was Syracuse Musical Theater. He was music director for a while, and he was a music teacher for over 45 years. So I was kind of in that world. I used to be in the Pompeian Players.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
So was my mom.
Oh, really? Yeah. I was in Music Man. I lost the part of Winthrop because I was too big. They wanted a skinnier, tight, smaller Winthrop guy with the lisp.
You don't let the casting people bring you down.
Right.
You got to keep at it.
A bummer, man. but I got to be in the ensemble cast and all that. So the Landmark has gone through a lot of stuff over the past few years. What is kind of their mission now?
Our mission is as it ever was. We want to bring the finest entertainment to Syracuse. We want to make sure that when we could bring the best Broadway shows, bring the best concerts, comedy, family shows. We want to be able to expose the people of Syracuse in our community to the best that the entertainment and arts world has to offer. Yeah. To do that, of course, we have to invest in the property. Right. It is a 95-year-old property. Actually, this month we're turning 95. Wow. So we're constantly investing in the physical systems, the air conditioning. We replaced the seats during the pandemic. We replaced the marquee on Salina Street. Nice. And then this summer, of course, we also just replaced our main floor concession stand. So we can have 4 bartenders working on the first floor as opposed to 2. Wow. Which doesn't sound like a lot.
It is.
It is double.
Yeah.
So we're thinking in percentages here.
Is it a nonprofit?
Yeah. We are a nonprofit.
Okay, yeah. I didn't know that. So in order to get funds, you have to get it from the state and from private donors? Or?
Yeah, we go everywhere. We look to the state, we look to the federal government, who was very supportive during the pandemic. Without the federal relief program, shuttered venue operator grant, there'd be a lot of shuttered theaters right now. Right. And of course, locally, Onondaga County is a big supporter. City of Syracuse has been a big supporter. And individuals, of course, as well. Right.
How much are you paying those ghosts to hang out there,
They work pro bono.
Oh, yeah, figures.
They just like having people around to mess with.
Have you ever spotted one?
So I've not spotted one, but I will say that this, my first time closing up the theater on my own, I'd sent everyone else home. I had turned off all the lights, and then I remember that the marquee lights were on, and I went to go turn the marquee lights off for the night, and the door to that closet slammed shut when I was about 6 feet away from it. No. And I thought, you know what? We can let them run for the night.
And that's the last time you did that.
An Alfred Hitchcock moment right there. Oh, my goodness. Very nice. So what do you have coming up? You're making some improvements downstairs. Yep. You've already done the concession stand. What else is going to be taken care of?
Well, of course, as we all know, what goes in must come out. So yes. We're also looking to make a pretty significant restroom expansion. For those of you that have come to our Broadway shows specifically, the restroom lines can become really, really burdensome. Right. The theater was originally built as a movie theater, which people use differently. When you need to use, you just go. Right. For Broadway shows, you have about a 15, 20-minute intermission where everyone in the building has to use the restroom. Yeah. Originally, the Landmark did not have any restrooms on the first floor.
Oh, goodness. I didn't know that.
Then there was one, and now we have 2. We have a men's room and a ladies' room with only 8 facilities between them. Oh, yeah. So when this restroom expansion is done, that's going to be expanded so that we have 14 ladies' room facilities and 9 men's room facilities.
Oh, excellent.
And we're actually giving up our own office space to do it. We're going to have to kick some people out into some other spaces in the theater.
Well, if you're doubling your bartenders, you need more space in that area as well.
Yeah, this is going to become a self-increasing cycle where we're constantly adding restrooms and bars.
Now, how about your regular shows, aside from your Broadway shows? Sure. Events. Can people book their weddings and everything? You still got room for that?
Absolutely. It's a little bit tricky for us sometimes. We tend to do most of our weddings in the summer because that's when touring shows like to be outside and Broadway shows like to be in other areas of the country. Okay. So we try to do as many of those private events as possible during the summer months. We make it a little bit less expensive in order to facilitate that. But we love doing weddings.
Okay. How about what's coming up? Do we have some good concerts coming up?
So let's see. We're going to finish out the weekend with Come From Away. We will have Paw Patrol coming up. If anyone with young
kids,
young
kids.
I'll be bringing my 4-year-old to that.
Yes.
We've got Flogging Molly, a great Irish punk band.
Oh yeah, I remember Flogging Molly.
Killer Queen. John Mellencamp's going to close out our
very nice.
Close out our season in June.
And John is he still relatively young? He can't be much older than I'm 58.
I mean, everything's relative.
Yeah, right.
So,
it's good to see them when they're still got some chutzpah in them. But look at all the people who went out to see Billy Joel, and
absolutely,
he's 110 on the low side.
I'll be seeing him this summer.
Yeah, very good. All right, and are you doing any acting yourself still? Can we catch you anywhere? Or?
No, unfortunately, I've kind of hung it up. Running the theater and taking care of a young child are pretty much.
Yeah, a lot of work. Okay, well, thank you so much. Mike Intagliata is the executive director of the Landmark Theater. Landmark Theater, spelled the old-fashioned way, .org if you want to get on the website. And on that website, you can see how to donate. So if you want to be a donor, the information is there, right?
Yeah, including our 10,000 Flushes campaign, which we didn't even talk about.
The 10,000 flushes. But that has to do with the bathrooms, right?
It does. We're looking to raise 10,000 donations of $25 each, which will fully fund the bathroom expansion.
Okay, so there we go. So now we did talk about it. That's good. Excellent. Okay, thank you so much, and we'll have you back again. I'd like to get you on more so we can talk about what's happening over there.
I'd be happy to do it.
Excellent. All right, next up, we're going to talk with John Tomino. He's the co-founder of In My Father's Kitchen. Stick around for that segment on the local show on 570 WSYR 106.9 FM.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Gettys Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen, and that means you are too, right here on The Local Show. We're broadcasting from the Zoey Advertising Studios, sponsored by Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Gettys Federal Savings and Loan. We're also on YouTube. I didn't tell Greg that, or did you know all these cameras were putting you on YouTube today?
You did tell me that.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, that's fine.
You're looking good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Than me.
I'm back at you, buddy.
Yeah, well, thanks. I try. I'm looking large, but at least I'm looking, which is decent. So Greg is filling in for Steve, who is a little under the weather, but I'm sure he'll be back soon. Maybe he just wanted an extended vacation. You never know, and he deserves it. So we're having a little fun today and bringing on a bunch of great guests. And one of those great guests is John Tomino, and he's here now with us. He's the co-founder of In My Father's Kitchen. How are you, John?
I'm doing great, guys. Thanks for having me on the program.
Well, thank you. I don't think I've seen you since Christmas. I think you were on the Christmas special.
Right, exactly. So it's been a couple of months.
It's been a couple of months, yeah.
Happy Valentine's past.
Yeah, right, exactly. Every year I was traumatized back when I was a kid. I'm full Italian and everything. So I used to watch all the Italian-oriented shows. And one time I saw this show called The St. Valentine's Day Massacre. And I thought, well, this sounds interesting. I must have been in my late teens. And I turned it on and I watched it and I was traumatized by that. I was like, man, these people are brutal. I don't want to get involved with that. I'd like to go the opposite way. Hey, tell me, John, what is your background and how did you get into In My Father's Kitchen?
Yeah, so my background is being raised by immigrant parents. My parents came to the States in 1964, and I was, I guess, made in Argentina, born here in the United States in 1965, and grew up in a home where food was a big deal. Mm-hmm. And so food became a really big thing in my background growing up. I found out that my friends wanted to come to my house because we ate different kinds of food. And so I realized as a young guy that was powerful, that I could use food as a vehicle to make friendships.
Right.
And then we went into the restaurant world. I ran some pizzerias that my family owned in the 80s to 90s. And then we owned Asti Cafe from 2002. And I left there in 2011 to start this work. And still using food. Like I have our pasta sauce with me now, and I brought a little snack here too that we can talk about. So food has been a big part of my background, and I see how food brings people to the table where change could happen in people's lives or relationships could be established.
Okay. So what was the how do I want to say, the genesis of in My Father's Kitchen? What brought you to start the organization?
Yeah, so for me, there's a big faith component to my life. I'm clergy, so I'm an ordained minister as well. So it's my faith journey finally kind of clashing with my natural talents as a chef and feeling compelled to do something bigger than just running a restaurant for the greater good of the community. And then I had an encounter with a guy on an off-ramp that changed my life forever, and that's how My Father's Kitchen was born in 2011.
Incredible. Greg and I were just talking about that a lot of times, being people of faith, that, you give in order to receive. And when you focus on the giving part, you're blessed with things.
Yeah, it generally doesn't happen the opposite way.
Right, and I see that all the time. So the work that we do now, we're going into our 12th year. We're just an extension of the community who supports us, as well as, I believe, God who commissioned us.
Yeah.
And if you open up your hands, right, you can't give if you're clenched fists. So once you open up and let things flow through you, it just keeps coming through and keeps coming through. We're a pass through. And it's been amazing to see the transformation of people's lives and the impact we're making in our homeless community through outreach.
Sure. Explain, unpack that a little bit more for people who may not know. There are people that we see under bridges. There's most notably anyone who goes to Destiny. If you're coming down Hiawatha Boulevard, you'll see some people there, sometimes with a guitar. You'll see a young lady who'll stand there with the sign. Those are the people you reach out to. And what are those people dealing with, and how do you help them?
Yeah, so 95% of the folks that we're engaging, specifically who panhandle, are addicted to substances. Heroin is really big right now. Molly's another thing. Spike is synthetic marijuana that people are smoking. The crazy stuff is right now that everything is being laced with like fentanyl and all these other things.
That's
Ketamine's now being found and stuff. So the group that we deal with have a lot of addiction, untreated mental health, and then they're homeless on top of it. So we come up and do, I call it engagement, street engagement, just first contact, meeting someone and finding out who they are. We bring out a doctor with us. If you follow us on our social media platforms, you see some pretty intense pictures that we put up. Like yesterday, a girl had an abscess on her leg that the doc had to lance it right on our outreach van.
Oh my gosh.
Because it was infected, and it's because of heroin use, using dirty needles and things like that. So we do some pretty intense stuff. I show the good, the bad, and the ugly of homelessness and the brokenness of individuals, but I also show how our engaging with folks helps people start to transform and move in a new direction. Do people transform? Yeah, our van driver, Kevin, for our higher ground van, I have our work crew out today, 9 people on a van, and we're on a Wednesday here. And he's got 9 people on the van, and he was homeless. I met him 8 years ago, hooked on crack, living under a bridge. He bought into what we were doing, got on track to change his life, went to rehab. I became his mentor, then connected to him to his first employment. Now he works for us. He drives the van. He's one of probably dozens that have made a turnaround, and it's because someone believed in them and they got some hope, and they felt like there was no hope.
Yeah, and no better person to speak to those people other than the person who's been there.
Transform. So transform people.
Yeah.
Right. So he's a shining light on that van today to 9 other people that say, hey, listen, I did it. You can do it. I'm no one different.
Right.
You just got to put in the footwork.
And you help people find the resources, right? So it's not only bringing them maybe to God, but also giving them the physical resources.
Yeah. So that's a great question. So with me as a minister and a faith person, so I'm not out proselytizing people. I'm just out there loving people unconditionally with no strings approach, bringing the social service element of what we do, like through the person's physical needs, any mental needs, medical needs. And then in the midst of all that, Jesus shows up. Like they'll say, why are you doing this? And then they open the door for a conversation to happen. Or some of them know that I'm clergy, so they'll pull me to the side and say, can you pray with me? I need this. So it's not kind of like going out there with a Bible. It's just living my faith.
Right.
And they know that, and then they open up to us and share their hearts with us.
What better way? Yeah, I like that. Living your faith and by example. Tell us a little bit about your sauce and your chicken riggies and how that fits in.
So the chicken riggies, I brought them in today for you guys. I brought one for each of you. It's a lunch that we brought out yesterday to the street. So we bring out elevated kind of quality food to show them dignity. I'm not bringing out peanut butter sandwich.
Yeah,
right.
It's like linguine,
bag of chips,
right?
or something.
Chicken riggies. I'm bringing nice, awesome deli sandwiches that we create, or steak sandwiches. So, and I brought our pasta sauce because we sell it in our local like Wegmans as well as specialty shops around the community, and also I could deliver it to your front door if you order it from me directly. But I use this sauce to make this Riggy sauce. So like when I was a chef in the restaurant, there's a process of making Riggy sauce, right? Doing a whole production. Well, I already did it for you, most of the work. So it's adding this to a pot, adding some cream and cherry peppers, and you have kind of a quick fix on chicken Riggies and adding chicken and pasta to it. So it's eating with a purpose. So if you buy the sauce, all the proceeds come back to our organization, and you feed your family's belly, and you're helping us feed other people's bellies.
That's wonderful. And if they go to your website, inmyfatherskitchen.org, they can order any of your products off that?
Yeah,
too?
so you go to the Taste and See tab, you click on it, and it's the sauce, the syrup, and we sell a coffee as well.
That's excellent. I can't tell you how much I love talking with you and really love what you do in the community. And I think about those people every time I pass them because, as a general resident of, central New York, I don't know how to help them. And you're out there doing it. People can't get into your organization and go help. I think we've talked about that before. No
volunteers, but you could give us donate clothing or financial support and things of that nature.
Excellent. So money would be better spent giving it to you rather than the person with the cardboard sign.
Yeah, so we encourage not to give panhandlers money because it's going to go to their things. So if it's us or another agency that's working with homeless services, I would say that's where your money's better directed.
Excellent. Well, that's John Tomino, ladies and gentlemen, co-founder of In My Father's Kitchen, inmyfatherskitchen.org. We encourage you to go to the website and buy the products and contribute to something well worth it. Thank you so much for being here, and we appreciate it. You have a great rest of the day, okay?
Same to you guys. Thank you.
All right. Coming up next, Greg, we're going to kick off hour number 2. Hopefully you're not running with your hair on fire and leaving me. But
Not yet.
Not yet. We'll have conversations with Stan Shane. He's the owner of Syracuse Dog Fence. John Murphy, the owner of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts, will stop by. Ed Ware, owner of Ware Brothers Carpet and Duct Cleaning, and then John Kupperman, owner of Smith's Restaurant Supply, all in hour number 2. Stick around. Starts real soon.
It's The Local Show on News Radio 570 WSYR, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Gettys Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome back and welcome in. This is hour number 2 of The Local Show. Get ready for engaging interviews with Stan Shane, the owner of Syracuse Dog Fence, John Murphy, owner of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. Ed Ware stops by. He's the owner of Ware Brothers Carpet and Duct Cleaning. And then John Kupperman is the owner of Smith's Restaurant Supply. He'll give us the scoop on all things kitchen related. And, sometimes people put stuff in other parts of the house, but generally the kitchen, right? Okay. We're broadcasting from the Zoey Advertising Studio, sponsored by Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Gettys Federal Savings and Loan. And we're also on YouTube. You can see us. Steve is under the weather and out of his mind and not with us today. So Greg Angwin has joined me. He's a neighbor and old friend. And despite all that, he still came.
Still friends, yes. Yeah.
Still came. Greg, for those of you who don't know, is a paddle expert. You like to do all things paddle sports.
Paddles and rackets, yeah.
Yeah, paddles and rackets. Yeah. You got me into the racquetball back in the day. Yeah. Boy, we were fit then, weren't we?
Yeah.
Fit to be
We're fit now, relatively.
yeah. Just a larger fit for me. But you're into the, what do they call that, ping pong?
Table tennis, yeah.
They don't say ping pong, right?
You can say ping pong, yeah.
Is that not politically correct? Will I get canceled for ping pong?
No cancellation for that. Yeah,
but there's a pretty big there's a league here in Syracuse. Huh?
There's an association, Syracuse Table Tennis Association. Yeah, and they meet a couple times a week. One in Elevate and the other one at the Pastime.
Okay.
So Thursdays and Sundays. Yeah.
How many people?
Altogether, there's probably 15, 20 guys meet each time.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you see, is it an Olympic sport? In all seriousness, I don't know. If
I believe it is.
Yeah. But that thing gets whipping, man. I mean, to be good, not just a casual Sunday player, you got to be good.
Yeah, and athletic. Really athletic. It's way more than people think it is. It can be whatever you want it to be, really. Yeah. So.
You actually have to wear a knee brace and
the paddles and rackets have gotten much smaller since I've grown older.
Right. Yeah. And you're not wearing a helmet though. So you don't
no.
Good. No. All right. It's our pleasure right now to bring on Stan Shane. He's the owner of Syracuse Dog Fence, SyracuseDogFence.com. How are you, Stan?
Good, Tom.
It's great to see you again. I haven't seen you in a while.
I know, it's been a while.
Yeah.
What are you just sort of hibernating during winter?
I don't know. Every time I say, hey, let's have Stan on, Steve says, no, not him. So I don't know what the deal is. I wanted you on. So Stan, give people a little bit of your background and how you got into Syracuse Dog Fence.
Well, back in the 90s, I had a dog that was tied to the porch, and it was fun for him until he pulled the leg off.
I was just going to say, did he tear the
porch fell down? So we decided we had to do something. So I put a fence in for myself, and I said, hey, this might not be a bad business to get into.
Right.
So we turned a need into a business.
Gotcha.
And that was back in 2000. So now it's 2023.
Yeah. I'm terrible with math, but that's like 23 years in business.
It's pretty close. I think you couldn't have done better.
Yeah, great. So that's wonderful. So what is your fenceless dog system? What does it involve?
Dogless fence system?
Dogless. So did I say fenceless? Yeah, dog.
Well, we're very similar to the major competitor out there. Matter of fact, the president of Pet Stop, which is the brand that I represent, started this whole industry back in the 70s.
Oh, wow.
He grew the company that he started to this huge conglomerate that it is today. And then he left, and once they decided to take their manufacturing to China, and he thought there was things that would be better, like manufacturing right here in the U.S.
Right.
Renting Pennsylvania.
So are all your collars and everything manufactured here?
Our collars are manufactured right here. Our transmitters are manufactured here.
That's wonderful.
Very good.
That's worth the price of admission right there.
Wire I buy is manufactured up in Camden.
Nice.
So everything is in the U.S.
Excellent.
For the most part. There are some things that we have to buy overseas because you can't get them here.
Yeah, crazy. So, in other words, people can have a pet in their yard with a buried cable and a collar and not have a big, ugly fence boxing themselves in and still contain their animals.
That's right. At my house, I have pretty close to 2 acres, and it's all fenced in with a wire in the ground. I've got 3 beagles. They wear collars. Everybody says you can't contain a beagle. Well, guess what? I opened the dog door like at 8 o'clock this morning, let the beagles out. They run around the yard, do what they have to do, come back in, have their breakfast, and then they're in and out all day.
Wow.
We're not there watching them. We're not leash walking them. I looked out, and, the last time I was down here, I brought Cash with me, if you remember Cash.
Oh, yes, I do. Yeah, lovely dog.
Yep. He was out. He was running laps in the yard yesterday.
No kidding.
And then Addie came out, and Addie started chasing him, which was great. You see 2 beagles out there just running around the yard.
And they just never break that fence.
And they
never
don't
go
break
beyond.
the fence.
That's wonderful. Greg, you were kind of on poop patrol around our block there for a while. It was
the people walking their dogs and weren't being considerate with others. But I'm just commenting on the fence. It just gives so much more freedom to you and the animals. Just you don't have to watch them, and they can do whatever they want, and they know their limitations. It's great.
Sure, and it's raining, it's snowing. You don't want to take the dog out.
Right.
Dog door, you open it and let them out.
Yeah.
They go on their own.
So tell us the process of from start to finish. If somebody brings you over to their house, you do a free estimate, and then what happens if they move forward?
Well, I got a call this morning. They saw my truck in the TAPS parking lot in Casanova, and they called and they want an estimate on a dog fence. I'm going to stop at their house and look at it, but they're right around the corner from me. I will send them an estimate through email. He can map out the layout for their yard like that. They have a couple things that they talked about, and then we'll talk on the phone. We'll settle things up. I'll have a good idea of how much wire it's going to take, and I can give them a price on it. Matter of fact, we're putting a fence in today. It's the first one of the year.
Great. How long will it take the process? Like, do people have to wait weeks to have things done, or is it pretty quick?
On Monday, I closed the deal on Monday, and we're putting it in today.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's really quick. That's less than getting a whole physical fence put up.
Right. That'll have the first training in today, and we'll give them some homework to do and schedule a second training about 3 to 4 days later. After that, if they need us to come back, we'll come back because we want to make sure their dog is going to stay in the yard.
Tell us about the training. Why is that important?
Training is important because the dog doesn't know that, hey, I can't go there. We have to teach them that if you go here, your collar is going to react to the fence. Mm-hmm. And when it reacts, it makes a sound. And also with that sound is a static correction. We start very, very low with a correction. It's more like a flea biting the dog than anything. Mm-hmm. And we just condition a response we want of backing up when the bell goes off.
Right.
Dogs learn from that, and then they learn to just stay in.
And you can cover however big the property is, right? You can do a backyard and a front yard, or anything you choose.
We've gone up to about 30, 40 acres.
Oh, goodness.
Wow.
Yeah, that's big.
And sometimes we can even go more than that.
Yeah. Well, this sounds like a great option to a great alternative to the option that I was thinking, and that was to just let Mikey and the other dog go and just run away, and then I wouldn't have to worry about it.
My question is, can you do it with cows and
various other animals?
Yeah.
I once did a goat.
Really? See?
That's funny.
And we have dealers that have done pigs and like that.
Oh, interesting.
Wow.
Just about any animal you can train to it.
That's excellent. Well,
one thing, Tom, I'd like to say about Pet Stop.
Go ahead.
We have rechargeable collars.
Yes.
We have a diagnostic charger which tests the collar, so you know if you got a good collar or a bad collar before you put it on your dog.
Yeah. So you don't have to worry about batteries.
Right. Nobody else does that.
Excellent. Yeah. Well, then call Stan today. Bring him over to the house. Let him check out the property and all that. SyracuseDogFence.com. SyracuseDogFence.com. Real easy. 415-5555. 415-5555. The fence challenge starts right now. You call that number and he'll take care of you. Thank you so much, Stan.
You're welcome. Good seeing you again.
Good seeing you.
Nice meeting you, Greg.
You too.
Attorney John Murphy is coming up next. He's the owner of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. He'll be on the local show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Gettys Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Back into it and back at it again. You've got The Local Show. Happy weekend to you as we roll through an early spring. Let's hope it just keeps going springtime. I've got a birthday coming up, Greg.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Funny, I get them every year, and better than the alternative, but I'm getting up there. I'm not the big 6-0 yet, but close enough.
You're climbing.
Yeah, you're over that. So
yes, yeah.
We can wait and have a big celebration on your 70th.
Okay.
You keep playing that table tennis.
Let's talk more about you. Yeah, that's right.
Speaking of golf, were we speaking of golf? You're one heck of a golfer, but I never hear you talk about golf anymore.
No, I just...
You're not retiring.
I'm not
pulling out Tiger Woods, are you?
I'm not a bragger. It's just when the matches come up, I tell them I'm a 10 handicap, and then I make the bets.
See, that's good stuff right there. Greg, he's the one you want. Did you ever play with him, John?
I haven't. I've just gotten back into golfing, and I'm not waiting till I get to be a 10 handicap. My brother and I just set up. I'm going to go down and do a member guest with him in June at his club, and then we're going to go to Pinehurst and play a couple courses. Okay. And in August, we're flying out to the West Coast and playing Bandon Dunes and Chambers Bay.
Nice. Wow. Very nice. Yeah.
I deal with a lot of people, as you know, Tom, and they at my office, and they have a lot of money and assets and no experiences. I should have done this. I wish I had done that.
Oh, right.
We're going to travel.
Yeah.
And they just don't. And
you're making it your life's work to give them experiences.
Well, it's, my brother and I grew up together separately. He's 11 years younger than I am.
Oh, I get you.
So I was off at school, and then I had my family, he had his family, and so we're using this time to really reconnect and
that's nice.
Go do something that we really have in common.
That's wonderful. I know
that's what it's about. It's about spending time with my brother. The golf is the catalyst for that, if you will.
Very good. And that's, I noticed you don't mention Steve's name in that mix.
Oh, my brother's name is Steve.
Oh,
no, but Steve's a good golfer too. He hits the ball a long way, but I wish I could do that.
If he's not fishing. At the same time.
He does, he can kind of do both.
That's right.
But, although he keeps trying to walk on the water to fish, and I keep telling him that you're not that guy.
No, you're not that guy. You can be close to that guy, but you're not that guy. And you got to go golfing with Greg, though. He's absolutely good, too. And I think you golfed with Steve before.
Yes, I have. Yep.
Yes. And you weren't too annoyed. You actually had fun.
Just a conversation. Yeah. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, that's wonderful. All right. So John Murphy is an attorney, and he has a company called Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. They do a wonderful job in protecting your home and life savings. John, how long have you been in that business?
I've been an attorney over 30 years, but about 2000, 2001, I changed my practice from a general practice. And actually making a list the other day and how many things I used to do. And, people who listen to the show know my story. I was asked to help my wife's grandparents get Medicaid. Grandmother, actually, the grandfather had died, which precipitated the request, and I failed at it. And it was a great time for me to make a change, lots of stuff going on. 9/11 had just happened, sick of going to family court and helping people fight over their children.
Yeah, that's terrible.
As a father of 4, I couldn't believe people do that. But anyways, so now this is all we do. We help people protect their home and life savings, while maintaining their lifestyle. So if someone comes in and says, I'd like to protect my house, my camp, whatever, but these are my plans. So, okay, well, we'll plan for that. We'll make sure you have enough money for that.
Right.
Now promise me you're going to do it.
Sure.
And then should they need nursing home and long-term care, it's protected. And even if they don't, right, this is one of those things I hope they never need the power of this trust. That means they didn't go into long-term care. It's still going to keep their family out of probate when they're gone and save them about 5%, plus all the headaches of going through a governmental system and process and bureaucracy. And, 2 years ago, we couldn't use the courts for about 12 weeks.
Yeah.
So if somebody died, nothing could be done.
Now, people can reach out to you in a number of different ways. You have a wonderful staff that answers questions, but I think one of the best ways to get to know you and the staff is at your workshops.
Yeah, it's really a chance for me to get up and, pretend I'm smart and talk to people. And they think I am because they really don't know anything about this stuff, right? So, it's a great time to interact. They get to see me. They get to meet part of the staff. And, having a great staff is like having a great wife. They make you look smarter than you are, right? And really, they cover all the bumps and stuff like that, right? So my staff is fantastic. But the workshop is about 2 hours. Learn some things that you maybe didn't know. Unlearn some things that you thought were true.
Right.
And are not. And that's one of the biggest things.
Misinformation.
People say, well, my family doesn't have to go through probate because I have a will. Well, that's not true. Actually, that's the exact opposite of true. Because a will, in order to work, has to go through the probate court. The judge has to see if it was actually signed right, if all the right people have been notified about the will. And there's a process. So probate's just a process. In order for will to be used, it has to go through that process.
Yeah. My father lost 2 homes because my grandmother went into long-term care and unfortunately couldn't pass that on. And they were beautiful homes up on the north side that I probably would have been able to rent out or do something with.
Right.
But couldn't do anything.
A life's work gone. It's a difficult thing to plan for because you're saying, I'm going to get sick. I have to plan for getting sick. But we do that all the time. It's just not as much in our face, right? We have health insurance.
Yeah.
Many people have life insurance, right? We have auto accident insurance just in case of something.
Yeah.
And this is, it's time to have what if insurance, right? What if I go into a nursing home? What if I'm disabled and I can't necessarily stay in my home without help?
Yeah.
Right? And then it's also the inevitable.
Right.
Everybody, but me, is going to leave this earth at some time. This is a plan to take care of that and make it as easy as possible for your family. Yeah. Whatever your definition of your family is, right? Not everybody has the same family.
Sure.
Right? We have people who don't want to leave anything to their children or don't have any children. Mm-hmm. Well, stay out of the court system because there's people who have to be notified about your passing that you may not want involved.
Yeah. So what is the thing that keeps people reluctant from coming and talking with you? What do you think that makes people reluctant to do it?
I think there's a couple things. They're facing mortality, right? I think that's a big thing. There are certain generations of immigrant folks, generally, not always. If I do a plan, if I make a will, I'm going to die.
Oh, right.
There is a mentality for some people like that, right?
Yeah.
And yes, if you do make a will, you are going to die.
This is ratcheting up my anxieties. Yep. This is great.
But Tom, if you don't make a will, you're going to die.
Right.
You're going to die
either way.
Yes, right. So let's have a plan. And a lot of folks say it's not time. And I love this Yiddish phrase, man plans, God laughs. Right. So you have no idea what when your time is up.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be nice to just knock it off the list?
Yeah.
Get it done. Your wife won't keep bothering you that it's time to get your estate planning done, and you don't have to worry about it. And everything you do is changeable. It's not, it's only etched in stone when your name is etched in the stone.
I get you. So is it, when is it too late? Well, is it too early? Is it ever too early to plan?
It's never too early because we don't know when the end is, right? We don't know. You have a stroke at 45 and you're in a nursing home.
Yeah.
That can happen. Right. Somebody runs a red light.
Right.
They hit you.
Sure.
Right. You get COVID and now you have long COVID and you can't work.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of things that we see that other people don't see because they have their own worlds.
Yeah.
We are in so many different people's worlds.
Yeah.
That we see all kinds of things.
Yes. Yeah.
And we got a story for everything and they're all true, unfortunately. Yeah. For folks. But folks who've planned ahead, the comfort they have, they tell us, thank you for doing this. We didn't realize it was so thorough. Everything we wanted to take care of and things we didn't even know we had to take care of, you've brought up and taken care of. Now we have peace of mind. That's the number one thing we get in our exit interviews. We get exit interviews from everybody. I have peace of mind.
That's excellent. Where is your workshop and how can people get involved?
It's a Holiday Inn and Suites on 7th North Street, right off 7th North, off 81. And just the other side of Buckley Road.
Gotcha.
Between 81 and Buckley.
Still a little room left, so you can call 370-9977, 370-9977. Doesn't cost you anything. Get to see Attorney John Murphy up close and personal and the staff. Owner of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. Thank you so much, John. Have a great rest of the day.
Remember, there's two of them at 10 and at 4. They're about 2 hours.
Excellent.
Very good.
You got one that'll fit you. All right, coming up next, we're going to talk with Ed Ware. He's the owner of Ware Brothers Carpet and Duct Cleaning. Stick around for the local show. More coming up.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome to the weekend. You've got The Local Show right here with Tom and Steve. Usually, but Steve's a little under the weather, so we have our fill-in guest host, and his name is Greg Angwin, an old friend of mine, and we're just having one heck of a party today, aren't we?
Yeah, it's a blast.
It's a blast. We're having some fun. We actually had a DJ company way back when we had multiple disc jockeys. Boy, did we have some adventures then, I'll tell you what. We played just about everywhere and
seen everything.
And
you got that right. You got that right.
We've been everywhere, man. That was good. Hey, company parties, I don't know if they'll ever come back to the way they were
Not
in the
the
late
way
90s.
They were. No.
We did an enormous amount of those.
Big companies, yeah.
Yeah. Big company. Yeah, right. We did the Kemper Insurance and that other big, huge insurance agency and big, huge pig roasts.
Yep.
Of course, a lot of those big places aren't around anymore. Of course, Hinterwaddles is no longer. Spinning Wheel, we did a lot out at the Spinning Wheel.
Remember, we had every room filled with our guys at the Hotel Syracuse one year.
Oh, yeah. That
tremendous.
That was fun, too. Yeah, we did a lot of that stuff. So that's great. And Greg's a bit of a musician now and doing a lot of stuff over at the church. What is your church again?
Grace Covenant Church on 31.
Okay, yeah, that's right near the...
It's going to be exactly where the entrance is for the Micron.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, the opposite side of the street. Yeah.
Right. So that's why you were asking how to make paninis.
I'm going to open a deli. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Right there and sell to them. Good. Everything to fund the church. That's awesome. All right. Hey, it's our pleasure right now to bring a new person onto the show. His name is Ed Ware, and he's the owner of Ware Brothers Carpet and Duct Cleaning. This is a big website name, warecarpetandductcleaning.com. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah, it is kind of long.
Yeah. And the Ware is spelled W-A-R-E.
That is correct.
Is that like in werewolf or I don't know? If that's
more like Tupper.
That's a Tupperware. Yeah, that's right. Very good. And you can get up closer to that, Mike, if you want. There you go. Very nice. So, Ed, where'd you come from? Like, are you a native of this area?
I born and raised in Fulton.
Oh, okay.
All of Central New York. You know, we run around here, so I've been around a long time.
Yeah. And did you do anything before this business?
Yeah. Actually, when I first got out of high school, I was a car salesman.
Okay.
So, used car salesman.
Excellent. And how'd that get you into duct work?
So, yeah, I decided I was looking for something to do, and there wasn't anybody at the time in our area doing it. Big companies were in Syracuse.
Right.
So, I went to work for a company, learned how to do this business.
Right. And when you say you do carpets, you don't do any other type of flooring, right? It's
just carpeting? we do tile.
Oh, okay.
Ceramic tile. I stay away from hardwood floors. That's a whole
different world.
Oh, yeah. You really need to know.
Yeah.
That, yeah.
So how long have you been in business?
I've been in the industry for 23 years. I have been in the business on my own for 11.
Okay, gotcha. So you've seen things, kind of change and materials change and
correct
styles and things like that. So with carpeting, I remember an era when everybody was getting Berber carpets.
Yes.
It was like everything was Berber. And to me, some of that Berber was not soft and it's not comfortable on the feet.
No, it was not. And it wasn't vacuum cleaner friendly either because you used to grab the loops and it would just run.
Yeah, that's terrible. Yeah. So what flavor of carpet is the best right now? What are people ordering?
A lot of the plushes is funny. We just had one done today in our own house. Plushes coming back in style. Another type is what they call frisé, and it's like it's not your mom's shag, but it's the lower little bit of shag.
Okay.
So, that's what most people are putting in, like their bedrooms and their hallways and stuff. And then they do, like laminates or hardwoods in the main areas.
Right. Have carpets become easier to clean? Are they more stain resistant now?
To a certain extent, yes. There are some challenges with some of the new ones that are out there. The pet-friendly ones can be a little bit challenging to clean.
Really?
For us. Yeah, they're great for the consumer, but it's just a little different technique you need to use on it.
Right. And how many installs do you do? Like in a
we
month?
Don't do the installation. I have somebody else that does it for us. We're strictly maintenance of it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. I didn't realize that.
We do cleaning and different methods of cleaning. We do what most people call it steam cleaning, but it's actually hot water extraction.
Right.
And then we have another one that we use once in a while. It's very low moisture cleaning.
Right.
It's just a quick method to spruce it up if you got to have it right away.
Gotcha. Now, explain to me how the duct cleaning came to be. What made you say, geez, we're cleaning these carpets, why don't we clean some ducts too?
Yeah, a lot of people in my industry have gotten into it. It just kind of flows good together because you can do both the same day. You can have us come in and clean the ducts and then clean the carpets after. So people, especially after COVID, have really stepped up, want everything clean. So that's just become a natural thing for them to do.
Do you have people who come to you regularly, like that are on a regular maintenance program? Or
We do have some people on the carpet end that will call us once, sometimes twice a year. They, the spring, fall cleaning. Mm-hmm. The pets have become, a lot of people.
Oh, I know. Well, we have 2 dogs, and it's funny. They go to the bathroom on the same part of the carpet every single time that they're bad, and I just like, oh, come on, people.
Yeah.
Or dogs.
I love them. I'll give you my business card.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they keep you in business. I it's probably bad that I had you on the show because now I'm going to have to it'll be like we're married. I'll be calling you every 5 minutes to clean up.
Yeah. Well, actually, with people that have pets that have carpet, I suggest that they get like one of those little Bissell machines that you see at like Walmart or something. Yes. So you can hit it real quick in between the cleanings of us coming in. So you're not paying us to come every other day.
Right. Can you ruin a carpet by cleaning it too much?
I'm sorry?
Can you ruin a carpet by cleaning it too much?
No, that's kind of an old wives' tale, along with like don't clean it because it'll get dirty faster.
I hadn't heard that one.
Yeah. Well, that comes back from the days when they used to use shampoo on them.
Oh, okay.
And we don't shampoo. Basically, it's like cleaning textile now. It's like, detergent. It rinses clean.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no residue left on the carpet.
Greg, do you have carpets in your house? Or?
We have different. I have hardwoods in the up top floor, and then we have in the basement. We have luxury vinyl with a area rug in the basement. Yeah.
So do you clean the area rugs as well?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Area rugs are big right now. So there's some that take more knowledge of cleaning than others. There's some out there that you get into the Orientals that are real wool. They're hand dyed and
very
stuff.
tight. Yeah.
You got to be careful with that stuff.
Sure. Now, does the duct cleaning work? Do you find that people have great relief with their allergies?
Absolutely.
And things like that?
It's something we recommend you do every 3 years. Mm-hmm. It's a great maintenance. It takes, an average house takes 3-4 hours to clean it properly.
Right.
And you'd be surprised what comes out of there. A lot of people are like, wow. They can't believe it.
And then do you put like an antifungal, anti-mold thing in there?
We do have a sanitizer available.
Okay.
Yeah, it is for bacteria, mold, mildew.
Excellent. Well, that's wonderful. So you're taking clients on right now, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. So that's Ed Ware right there. He's the owner of Ware Brothers Carpet and Duct Cleaning. And I think I got the right number here, 315-598-6275.
That is correct.
All right, let's say it one more time, 598-6275. Get your ducts cleaned now. Get your ducks in a row.
Yep.
For springtime.
And your carpet clean. Yes.
And your carpet clean. All right. Thank you so much, Ed. And you have a great rest of the day, okay?
Well, thank you.
All right. John Kupperman's coming up next, owner of Smith's Restaurant Supply. Stick around, folks. More of The Local Show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome back to The Local Show. Hope you're enjoying your weekend. Kind of a mild weekend, right into the weekend here. Not too bad. Of course, they're saving up all the snow, sleet, and rain for the St. Patrick's Day parade, right? Doesn't that usually happen on St. Patty's Day?
Yep. We'll be snowing 6 foot of snow that day.
Yeah. Geez. And usually in March, we get like one of those last a day or two snows. I haven't had to pull out the snowmobile once.
Snowblower?
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Snowmobile. Yes, you knew I didn't have a snowmobile. Yeah, the snowblower. I didn't have to pull that out once.
No.
Crazy. And then, when I came to you not too long ago, I'm talking with Greg Angwin, folks, because Steve decided not to show up. we had talked about this storm, and they were threatening that, ice storm, and we're going to be, just destroyed and this and that. And everybody was out buying generators. And I said to Greg, if you guys need the generator, we'll have that going. You won't have to worry about being out of power. And Greg, you looked at me and said,
15 years I've been in the neighborhood, the power has not gone out once.
Right. And you were laughing at me, and I go over and spend $600 on a generator, and all I've done is turned it on just to run it. so I'm hoping we at least get a little bit of something, at least
so you can use the generator.
So I can use the generator. At least get turn the power off for at least 10 minutes. Let me use my generator. But anyway, so it's better safe than sorry, I guess. Safe Harbor Wills and Trust. We already had them on. They have that. Workshop coming up on Monday, so make sure you take advantage of that. All weekend you can call their number and go to safeharborwillsandtrusts.com and sign up for that workshop, just so you know. I just wanted to throw that in there. Now it's our pleasure to talk with John Kupperman, a perennial favorite of the local show. He's the owner of Smith's Restaurant Supply. How are you?
Very fine, thanks.
Good to see you. Do people at this point start to buy different products as we get into spring? I guess the next big thing is Easter for a big food day, right?
Yeah, Easter, Passover time. People start cooking. But I got to tell you, it's been, knock on wood, abnormally busy.
Oh, excellent. We like to hear that.
And historic trends are pretty much out the window right now. I mean, because of COVID and just waiting in between our move a couple years ago. But for instance, we're up an additional 10 transactions a day from the new year.
Oh, that's
which
wonderful.
is huge for us.
Wow. I think it's your relationship with Zoey Advertising, probably.
Clearly.
Yeah. It's gotta be.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It certainly helps. People comment all the time that they hear me.
All right. Well, they comment on Steve all the time, too. So
probably differently.
Good or bad. No, that's good that they hear you.
Yeah.
So it's different. I mean, somebody like Greg, who only uses plastic utensils, probably doesn't have a need to go over there. But
I was just in there the other day, actually. I just browsing around, seeing. I love knives. That's one of my things.
So it's a big category.
So yeah.
It's a big category.
Yeah.
We, pretty continuously, obviously our Hyman Smith coffee, right up there. We do a tremendous amount of disposables now, where we didn't do that years ago. Things like deli containers and takeout containers and things.
The little aluminum things with the top.
And foil pans, all that sort of thing. It's almost 25% of our take on a daily basis.
Wow.
No kidding.
And back years ago, it was single digits. I mean, and which is all good. I mean, but people have now learned that we have that product. And you'll just see somebody come in the store, head straight back for the cake boxes, do their thing, come back out. Right. They know exactly where it is. And, it's interesting. It's different, but it's all good.
Do you have to run any particular sales at this time to, any loss leaders or anything like that?
Typically, we don't do that.
Okay.
We just keep our prices consistent. Right. And we try not to,
overcharge.
People play with prices sometimes.
Right.
We don't do that.
And some of those retailers out there, they do the loss leaders, so it's like it's something that's real cheap product just to get you in the place. And then, everything is jacked up from there.
I'd rather just have people come in continuously. Get what they need.
You're better off. So a good carving knife to carve your ham or your turkey or whatever else you're having over the Passover and Easter. Thumb. Do you have anything that carves thumb really well? The knives, you said something interesting last time you were on the show, and that was that you don't really need to buy some of these multi-packs have like 15 knives in it, and he was saying, you don't need 15.
No, typically you don't. Most people have 3 or 4 knives.
Yeah.
Paring knife, a chef's knife, called a so-called cook's knife, a slicer, and a bread knife.
Yeah.
And people bring in their knives all the time for us to sharpen. And you can tell, they'll come in with a whole set, like 15 knives, and you can tell that only 2 or 3 of them are ever used. The rest of them are like factory sharp. And, so you just know, but that's not to say that some people don't, but some people also like the way a large set looks.
Looks prestigious.
Right. I don't know.
But in reality, they're only using
Yeah.
3-4 knives.
But they can come to your place and get a good carving knife.
Absolutely.
And then have that for life, basically.
Yeah. Brisket's been a big thing.
Oh, brisket. Yeah,
yeah. And so
love a good brisket.
Yeah. Got brisket knives, slicing knives, and that's been very popular.
So a brisket knife is different than a carving?
It is a carving knife, but it's a little bit longer.
Okay.
And usually it has a rounded end. Mm-hmm. If you ever gone down a buffet line.
Yes, I've seen that. Yeah.
Well, that's because they also use it as a serving piece, and you don't want to go towards somebody with a pointed end. So they have that rounded, a roast beef knife or a brisket knife. It's got that rounded end, so you can serve somebody with it.
Nice. Slicers. Do you have cold cut slicers?
Yes.
So you have those industrial ones. That's always been a conversation that the wife and I have had. Should we get one of those so we could, maybe make a roast beef, make a big turkey, and then slice and then have cold cuts for
A lot of people do that.
Do they?
Yeah, they
Smart
do.
people,
Especially venison.
Oh, yeah, right.
But people will go out and they will do a roast, and then they will slice it, and then they'll refrigerate or vacuum pack it.
Sure.
And they find that it's savings for them.
Yeah, that could be.
And it's a better product because you're cooking it at home type thing.
Right. And of course, you have all your different types of coffees.
Absolutely.
And people can come in anytime for those.
They can.
And you can do a little tasting as well if people want to see what your flavor is.
And if somebody, wanted to see us do the roasting, we typically do that Tuesdays and Friday mornings.
Mm-hmm. Twice a week. That's great. Yeah.
And so we could, or more if we need. Mm-hmm. But if somebody wanted to, have me show them how the machine works and then do a little dog and pony show for them, I'd be happy to.
Well, that's excellent.
So that's your roasting in the front lobby there? That's
Exactly.
what you roast with? Okay, great. Yeah.
Yeah, and you got all sorts of coffee paraphernalia. Would that be correct?
That's reasonable. Yeah, you got everything you can imagine to brew a cup of coffee.
Yeah, that's kind of cool too. So what else do you want to talk about now that people should come in for, in the springtime as we get closer to spring? Is there any particular product that is hotter than the next? Or?
Not. We're doing a surprising amount of bakeware right now.
Okay.
Yeah. And as we get in, you can't tell by this last week with this nice weather.
Yeah, exactly.
But we're doing a lot of barbecue stuff right now.
Oh, good. Okay.
Because everybody's mind is thinking, it's been 65 degrees.
Greg's
and here
quite
we
the
go.
barbecuer.
But and people are the disposables once again. They are just making food.
We ought to get some of that because we're always looking for something to put the extra stuff in when we have friends over. And you don't want to give them your plasticware because you never get it back.
Correct.
So you're better off giving them something disposable.
Yeah, and we do. We have all sorts of disposable containers and even spoons, tongs, disposable type. So if they don't come back home.
Yeah.
No big deal.
All right. Well, go visit John Kupperman right there. He's the owner of Smith's Restaurant Supply. They're up on Erie Boulevard East, right across from Texas Roadhouse and in the old plaza where Empire Skates was. And now the Guitar Center is up there and all that. So sounds good. Thank you, John. And you have a great rest of the day.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, Greg, you made it through. Thank you for stopping by.
My pleasure. It was a lot of fun. Had a great time.
Good. Well, come back again.
No.
Okay. All right. God bless you and your families. Get some vigorous activity today and every day and make it a point to help someone who is a little less fortunate than you. The local show can be heard every Saturday morning from 11 to 1 and then again on Sunday morning from 7 to 9. Listen together with a friend. It's more fun that way. Until next week, get down to business and keep doing business locally. Tell your friends about the local show right here on 570 WSYR 106.9 FM, the iHeartRadio app, and on YouTube at Zoey Advertising 3809.